Thank you, Chairman and the President of the World Water Program. Very good afternoon to all the dignitaries and the experts and the delegates and the speakers. I'll discuss with one of the different sector, although it is doesn't come under the loop of agriculture. It's about tea sector. But since it's about water energy, so I'm doing a research on that, and it's a part of a research. So basically, we'll discuss about the micro irrigation and the case study we have taken under this. Next slide. The outline of this presentation will be, since I'll just want to have a background of the tea, we know that tea is a very important commodity, and we are one of the second largest producer of tea in the world. But and it is being cultivated mostly in the part of Northeast, Assam, West Bengal, some part of Tamil Nadu and Kerala. And it requires a huge amount of rainfall and humidity. That's why the climatic conditions are like that. That's why on those states the tea is produced. But there is a gap, since already my earlier speakers and other dignitaries have already told, since there is no uniformity in the rainfall, 4 5 months there is drastically drought in this field. And there is almost around 6.4 lakh hectares under tea cultivation. It's around 1600 industries who are cultivating the tree. And during November to April, it requires irrigation. Now, while irrigation, from the last 2 decades, they're using extensively the overhead sprinklers, because the area is very high. It's each garden is around 600, 500 hectares and more than that. So to irrigate the whole plant, they had at that time, two decades ago, they are using sprinklers. Now the time has come, because the all tea gardens are not gifted with very good surface water or river, and most of them are using groundwater. So when they are using groundwater, they are extracting water from the ground, and with the very high HP, in the very high energy pump, they are extracting the water. And when they are going to irrigate the field with such a large area to cover, they had to require very high energy to irrigate the whole area. So in this regard, because during that irrigation with the sprinklers, the most important thing they require the energy. The second most important thing they require is the labor. And we know that the labor nowadays is a very it's not a very dynamic situations. Means once the price of the tea declines, but the labor cost will not come down. So with this, I'll just next time, please. You just go on every 2 seconds or 3 seconds. You can move on the slide. So next slide. This is just a scenario. This is a global scenario where we stand. We are the second largest after the China, but in terms of exporting, we are the fifth, because somewhere there is some gap. Now I'll not say only the irrigation is a factor, but this is one of the biggest factor. And next slide. And in India, most of the tea gardens, as I discussed, it is in Assam and West Bengal. So we have taken one tea garden. Next slide. In Doers in the West Bengal, where most of the areas are under tea. And obviously, other speakers has already told about the climate change, so I'll skip this slide. You can go on. Please change the slide. And the researchers from Tea Research Association, Toklai, have already told that we need to address the climate issues. When we come to the climate issues, the first thing is striking is water, and the next is the energy. Next. So this is the scenario where the tea garden is nowadays using. Now, since Northeast is getting high amount of rainfall, but During the 4 months, they are not getting water, but the industries has to irrigate them and to run their industries. So this is how they used to irrigate the whole garden. They used, most of the gardens, they used portable pipelines. One of my earlier speakers from Jain Irrigation has already described many things about drip and sprinkler. Particularly in sprinkler, they are using portable pipes of HDP, and laborers used to carry this portable pipe from after every irrigation from time to time. So, yeah, next slide. Now, this is one of the important factor I'll just want to mention. That's why how the research has come. At any sprinkler, maybe of Jain or any other company of Natafim or even Harrit or other companies, most of the irrigation they are using a sprinkler of having 23.5 meter radius, and minimum at a 3 kg pressure they have to run it. So how they used to do? They used to run 10 sprinklers. This is the most common scenario. This is the most common thing every tea garden is using. So they used to have 10 sprinklers, and with that one sprinkler, the discharge is around 182 LPM. So they requires 1,820 liter per minute of volume of water to run the sprinklers. And there's a high head is required. Say suppose 1 kilometer they have to do. Huh? Oh, okay. So the next slide, please. So how we have done to optimize this water resource, we have come with, we developed one drip model. Obviously, the drip model will come to the next thing. But which drip to use? So we have taken all the best 4 models. Next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide. We have selected one garden. It is a garden in Chuapara Tea Estate. It is under the McLeod Russell. And we have selected one site, and we have designed the model. Next slide. Yeah. We have used the smart technology, starting from the water requirement. What should be the water requirement of the tea? So we have taken data from, and we have used the softwares, these 2 softwares from the Food and Agriculture Organization, Climate and Crop Water, and we have found out the water requirement of the tea. Next slide. Now you can, next slide. Now if you see, just before this slide, yeah. If you see, with this your use of the software, we could find like from May to September, because there is a huge rainfall there, the water requirement is nil. But from October and till April, we require a good amount of water. Now what the sprinklers are doing, sprinklers are taking the cumulative amount of water and they are irrigating to the field at a time. Now since they are irrigating, they are giving the total amount of water, say within 4 hours. The total requirement of the tea in a month, they are giving in 4 hours, which is not possible for a plant, because we are also human. If we require, suppose 1 month water we require for drinking, we cannot drink at a single day. So this is what is the main crux of this research. Next slide, please. Now this is the model we have developed. We have used both different type of drippers to find out which will be the best and optimized for this particular area. We have used online, means the drippers are fixed on the laterals. We have used inline system, because not much research has been done under the tree irrigation in India. So with that model, we have used the water jumps software also, which is most commonly used in water supply and hydraulics field. So we have utilized this software in this calculations and all. Next slide, please. This is the model. We have 4 models. One model with 8 LPH, 2 dripper per plant, Another model we have used 8 LPH with 1 dripper per plant, and the third one we have used 4 liter inline system. So this way we have designed. Next slide, please. Yeah. Next slide, please. Next slide. So this is the software we have used and run the system. Just go on, move the slides. So we have calculated the hydraulic heads and discharge and everything. Next slides. Next slides. So we have installed the same thing into the field, and now we have started our finding the data. Next slides. These are the apparatus we have used. Next slides. Next slides. Next slide. So the two important thing we have determined from this experiment is one of its emission uniformity and coefficient of efficient. So this one we have calculated from all the 4 models, and we have come to the conclusion. Next slide. Next slide. We have come to a conclusion that one of the model, that is the third model, is responding very good into the field, and this is how we have we are recommending that this particular model may be adopted. Next slide. Now, since it is more related to the industries, but we should not forget the small tea growers also, because according to the Tea Board of India, a farmer having less than the 25 acre of land, he is named as small tea growers, and we have around 2.5 lakh small tea growers in India. So this can be addressed to them as well in terms of agriculture. Next slide. We have calculated the cost. Yeah. So with this, I'll just finish my talk today. Thank you for listening.